Hey you guys, it's a beautiful Wednesday, and I just wanted to come on here and actually share a message. So, I wanted to give you guys my take on the video that I posted yesterday about pretty privilege because I had a pretty powerful revelation about that this morning, which is that I actually got to experience both sides of the coin, which is crazy. It's like I've lived two lives in one. When I was younger, I wasn't really into girly stuff. I was kind of a tomboy, especially in elementary school. I was the fastest girl in the school. And even though I had a few crushes that liked me back, I still didn't feel like one of those girls. I even hung around some of the most popular girls in school, but I still just didn't see myself that way. When I was younger, I saw myself as average. Is very basic. And a lot of that had to do with the way that I dressed. Like my mom would dress me in these boyish clothes, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I didn't have the name brand stuff. I wasn't getting my hair done, every week. And so yeah, I just didn't feel like one of those girls. Even though when I look back on my pictures, I'm like, I was super cute. But I didn't think that I was pretty. And so I dealt with a lot of low self esteem. I even dealt with some bullying, and which I didn't realize at that time were from girls that were actually jealous of me, even though I didn't think that I was that cute. But the reason that I said that I got to live both lives is because even though other people might have perceived me to be pretty, I didn't see myself that way. And just like she said in the video, we can all, say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of this other stuff. But we have to be honest. In society, there are certain beauty standards. There are certain pressures, when it comes to how you look, how your body looks, all of these different things. Like, it's a real thing. But it does exist in our minds, but it's a collective choice. It's a collective mindset, which makes it more real. So there are real things that people are dealing with when it comes to low self-esteem, when it comes to body dysmorphia, and a lot of it has to do with these standards that society has upheld for generations. Like I said, I got to live both lives. But, I got a good amount of attention. Even in high school, a lot of people probably would have considered me as popular. When I look back, I'm like, I was pretty popular. Like, people that I didn't even know would walk up to me. I always got compliments, and I had a lot of guys crushing on me, but I still didn't see that in myself. I still didn't think that I was one of those girls. And one of the reasons I will say is because I was comparing myself. So, yes, I might have thought that I was cute and pretty, and then I would compare myself and it would make me feel less than. So, that has a lot to do with it as well, which is something I had to heal from and understand that we are all beautiful, and I had to see that in myself. There was a lot of other components that went into that, but that was the biggest one, is comparison. Now, the crazy thing about this is I actually came across a movie yesterday that was perfect. It's like my higher self just sent this movie to solidify what I watched in that video. And the movie is called In Her Shoes. It stars Cameron Diaz. I definitely recommend going and watching it. But in this movie, Cameron Diaz has a sister. And they really played on stereotypes because Cameron Diaz was a blonde, slim, nice figure, very popular with the guys, if you know what I mean. Her sister was a brunette, not so popular with the guys, a little nerdy looking. And so they had this sibling rivalry, even though they were very close. The one sister, who was a brunette, She always felt that Cameron only got attention because of her looks, that she only got by in life because of her looks. And she completely projected onto her, that she wasn't going to be anything, that all she would ever be was her looks. And I experienced this a lot in my life. I actually had a sibling with a similar dynamic. I got a lot of attention when I was younger. Once again, I didn't even know why, because I didn't think I was that cute. But I got a lot of attention. People would tell me different things, like I should model, and she'd be right there, and she actually held resentment towards me for that, because she felt like I was always getting the attention, which had nothing to do with me. That wasn't my fault. And so she would project onto me. And later on in life, when I did actually get into modeling, there was an undertone of hate and envy there. Like, she would kind of try to downplay it. Or she would try to make herself feel better with her own accomplishments. Well, I'm doing this and you're just modeling, as though it was nothing. So there was a lot of different things that I experienced. It wasn't until I actually started to heal myself that I was able to really see myself and love myself. But I was in relationships and I would constantly compare myself. I would have a lot of jealousy and envy. And it's kind of crazy because, I get this type of attention from women now who project onto me. And I have nothing but compassion for them. Even when I want to judge them, I remember that version of myself that used to be in their shoes. And I remember why I used to do that. It was because I didn't love myself. I didn't see myself. And so I felt as though I had to compare myself to other people, that I wasn't good enough, because I was constantly comparing myself. When you take everybody else out of the picture, it's a lot easier for you to see yourself. But when you're adding all of these other people and factoring in society's standards, then it can really become crowded. Once you just learn to focus on yourself and also understand that beauty does not just come from the outside. So me personally, even though people projected onto me, just like she talked about in that video, people projected onto me that just because I'm pretty, that I shouldn't be intelligent. That just because I'm pretty, I shouldn't be talented. How dare she be talented and beautiful and smart? For them, they felt as though it wasn't fair, which once again had nothing to do with me, which once again is not my fault and nothing for me to be ashamed of. But many of us are made to feel like we have to be ashamed, like we have to dim our light. Don't be good at everything, because now you're going to attract hate, specifically from other women. And this is a big sister wound and also a big witch wound. Because as she mentioned in the video, a lot of women were deemed as witches and burned at the stake simply because of their beauty. Because men felt like they were bewitched by her beauty. They couldn't resist her. So there had to be something demonic about her. And it still happens today in this society. If a woman dresses a certain way, she's a S word or an H word, as though she has no right or say as to what she can put on her body. But because they are tempted, instead of taking accountability, they put the blame on her. She needs to tone it down. I don't know about you, but I experienced this in the church house. You can't wear that. You're going to draw a certain amount of attention. As opposed to putting the accountability on the people who are given that type of attention. It is not your responsibility to make other people have self-control. And it is not your responsibility to make other women not be triggered and to heal themselves so that they're not competing with you. It is not your responsibility for a man to feel secure in himself enough to be able to trust you and not to project onto you simply because you're beautiful and you get attention. That's not your fault. And you don't ever have to dim your light for a man or a woman to feel more comfortable in their own skin. That's a person that has to heal themselves. Your beauty is not a curse. It is a gift. Remember in the Bible where it says your gifts will make room for you? Your beauty is also a gift. Just like your wisdom is a gift. Just like any other talent. But we've been taught that our beauty is a curse. That you need to tone it down. That you can't just be beautiful. You have to be all of these other things as well. How dare you? For those of us who are in the beauty industry, how dare you get paid to model around beautiful clothing? How dare you get paid to be beautiful? How dare you get paid to exist? This is coming from a place of jealousy and envy. All of us have gifts. Now with me, my struggle was a little different because I do remember a time I did get a lot of attention. And I got attention for my looks. And I would say to myself, I want somebody who actually wants me for me. I want somebody who actually sees me, who loves me for who I am inside. Because another good point that she made in that video was I would attract a lot of different guys who would only see me from the surface level. But then when they got to know me, they didn't know what to do with me. It complexed them that I didn't fit into their little box, that I had an opinion, that I was just as intelligent. So then guess what? They began to see me as competition. So many of the things that she talked about was correct. Now, I don't suggest you take these things and victimize yourself. That video was to bring awareness to something that people try to ignore because it helps them sleep better at night, especially those who are benefiting from it. Those who are on the other side of the pretty privilege. Those who sit and watch these TV shows and judge those women. Who are housewives, or married to athletes and certain people because of what you might assume to be just their beauty, when you don't even really know these people. But you judge them and think that just because they're beautiful, they have it easy. Well, let me tell you, with beauty comes great power and great responsibility. What you don't realize is that being the center of attention is not always an easy position. All eyes are on you. And not only that, people are always expecting you to do more. What else can she do? Or is she just pretty? Is that all that she has to offer? So now you're expected to exceed their expectations because, oh no, you can't just be beautiful. That's not fair. So it's very interesting, the points that she made, and they're very true. And I'm thankful for my life. My higher self knew the assignment. In order for me to fully fulfill my mission, I had to experience both sides of the coin. So, whilst I might get a lot of attention and different things like that now, when I was younger, that wasn't the case. I got to experience what it felt like to be overlooked, to have someone that you want choose somebody else. I got to experience all of these things. What it felt like to envy another woman and to be jealous of her and to assume that just because she's beautiful, her life must be easy. Just because she's pretty, she must get everything that she wants. That's not reality. And those of you that want to believe that are probably only telling yourself this to make yourself feel better, to even the odds, but it's just not true. It's just not true. So if you haven't watched that video, definitely go and watch it. I posted it yesterday. And check out that movie, In Her Shoes, because it's really going to hit home with the message that Teal Swan provided to us yesterday. It's time for us to heal these sister wounds. Let go of the envy and the hate. And start seeing beyond the physical. Because we are more than a body. These incarnations are simply to fulfill a mission. Your beauty is not a curse. There is a purpose behind it. So don't feel any shame or guilt that anyone has ever tried to project into you for your beauty, for your light, because it is a gift. Peace and love.